I try my best to stay patient because this review could have went on Saturday, right after the event. What did we get? Very little build-up, overuse of pyro, overuse of hype, no progressiveness, all what WWE is trying to promote. And we know one thing. None of these shows are dropping dimes, except in Vince McMahon's pockets. In watching this show, as annoyed as I am, it just opens my eyes. It doesn't really anger me. It just opens my eyes how much WWE is so scraping the bottom of the barrel. They'll go to fucking Saudi Arabia. They'll go to a place where they even do like tribute to the troops to like fucking mock. They literally made two Muslim characters, one that won the world title and one that was a premier joke after making a terrorist reference and making its gimmick a terrorist while a terrorist event was occurring and making sure that entire fucking gimmick failed completely. Then I watched the show and it proves my point. No one gives a fuck. The opening match was obviously forcing to devalue the Universal Championship because it's supposed to be a WrestleMania-esque pay-per-view, and yet the Universal Championship is opening off the show like it did WrestleMania 35 just 2 months prior. And we had a Monday Night Raw-esque match that proved Corbin was a complete sissy piece of shit screaming at the ref most of the time, showing his most minuscule moves, Michael Cole barely even knowing what the hell a back suplex was, and just Seth Rollins' inconsistency to sell. It was just so mediocre watching the damn match that I knew Rollins was going to win, because obviously they were trying to push Brock Lesnar, cashing it in several times. And all we got was and he was even hyping to cash it on Kofi for some apparent reason after losing to Rollins at Mania. And we couldn't have a change of pace with Lesnar beating Kofi Kingston for the world title, giving him super heat. Thanks Kofi Kingston was the bigger feel-good moment. But we had a mediocre-ass match. It wasn't that impressive. It just showed Rollins just the hype factor that he produces, with very little storytelling in his wrestling matches. And Baron Corbin barely even showing that he's much of a factor in any part of the Raw brand. Brock Lesnar also failed to cash in if you guys care. So that was the opening match of the damn show, and I already don't give a shit. Next up was Andrade coming with no Zelina Vega because it's we're in Arabia, so they don't allow women in entertainment. So yeah, understanding that, I don't think it should be out. Yeah, and by the way, crappy entrance for Finn Balor. Crappy entrance with involving these wiggly people to come around him. I understand he's supposed to make like his own minions. His face paint already came off 5 minutes into the match with very little dread, but it was a decent match. Elbows off the freaking wall, missile drop kick, but he somehow did the coup de grace in the other post. That I was confused, but it was a decent match. Andrade and Finn Balor are great wrestlers, but with very little storytelling involving something as, currently like iconic in the indies and like for hardcore fans, as the demon gimmick should be like a way more bigger appeal. And Andrade, in my opinion and other people's opinion, I think he's a great wrestler. I just feel like he needs like a story, and that's what WWE lacks doing. And they want to put this in a different country when some of these guys are not even that certified as big top stars. So what's the point of going to a different country if some of these guys are not even mainstream appeal? WWE's doing this because it's WWE. And they're getting like $30 million to do these shows. So I'm all for getting your chicken, but my god, that was very crap. This was barely crap, like, intervened match. Like, right after Money in the Bank, he was just issued an Intercontinental Championship match with nobody else, like, competing, while, like, niggas were just racing to pin R-Truth, while, like, Finn Balor should have a target on his back. And he should be a way more bigger hunt for the Intercontinental Championship after beating Bobby Lashley a few times. So this was crap. Like real crap. Next up was involving Shane McMahon and Roman Reigns. And what would you suspect of? Roman, that's just there for hype factor and very little storytelling in his wrestling. And Shane McMahon is just there as like the biggest hype wrestler. Punch kicking, punch kicking, punch kicking. 1, 2, 3. Spear, spear. Near fall off the spear. Then a Claymore kick come out of nowhere off McIntyre. And Shane pins him. How strong is Roman Reigns? I don't know. Just to have another match with a McIntyre at Stomping Grounds. Plus, that's a pay-per-view name. WWE has devalued that much that instead of cool names like Unforgiven, No Mercy, Backlash, Judgment Day, Fully Loaded, No Way Out, pay-per-views that used to be cool, had great concepts. It didn't have gimmicks. It had concepts. It had concepts. One Night Stand was a concept. Unforgiven was a concept. All those. And plus King of the Ring used to be really big pay-per-views to be hyped up for. And now we got Great Balls of Fire, Stomping Grounds, Fastlane. Nobody even knows what the fuck a Fastlane is. So Shane is supposed to be the shit heel, and instead of like getting a rematch or at least trying to beat the crap out of him on Tuesday, they're just going to keep like beating shit out of each other, keep talking shit on the ring, wasting ring time, and doing a pay-per-view match that might end up with Roman winning in the first place. So I don't think I care about Stomping Grounds in the first place. So this is completely pointless of a fucking show at the point of this, man. It was already a waste of, because most of these are rematches. Next up was Lars Sullivan and Lucha House Party. I don't even know why the fuck they're feuding in the first place. The Lucha House Party really have much to say except, big guy, we must beat him. El Tigre! Beat the shit. And they still get their ass beaten multiple times. It just ended off DQ instead of Lars Sullivan, like, beating 3 miniature luchadors in one ring, showing that he's incredibly strong. How is this impressive? To just lose off disqualification. Because somehow they counted off disqualification off them attacking them? Why wasn't this a tornado match? Why wasn't this a tornado handicap match? It's 3 against 1. You couldn't make a tornado? What was this hyped up for? What a monster. He wins off DQ. But that's okay. He beats him up in the middle of the ramp. Like, that saves it. It's a match. What are you wasting valuable time to to win by DQ when you're supposed to be a monster heel? Braun Strowman has beaten like 4 dudes. Clean. Ryback. Clean handicap matches he wins, and it proves that he's impressively strong. Lars Sullivan is incredibly strong, physically fit, and seems to have a psychotic personality. Why they did Ryback and Strowman well, but they can't do fucking Lars Sullivan justice. Next up was Triple H and Randy Orton match that was so overzealously fucking sold to you. They had trailers on SmackDown, Raw, NXT before the show, before the kickoff. Keep showing these vignettes of 2 Hall of Famers wrestling with very little storytelling why they should even compete except that last minute promo they had at the go home show of SuperShowDown. It's like, what should I bring? Your wife has more authority than you. Fuck you. Suck my dick. And that's how this match started. Randy Orton wore multicolored tights It's been a while since I've seen him wear that. Like, other than black, it's some a bit of like a different colored fucking detail on his other parts of the tights. Where last time he looked like a fucking monster can at WrestleMania 35, and now he looks like a different flavor monster can. This was a decent match. It just ended up with Orton winning for some apparent reason, but Batista loses clean in a street fight. Not feeling so well. And it just ends up with him getting pinned off being too overconfident, getting RKO'd. Like another RKO'd happened. A high knee, moves off the outside. Like if you've seen Orton in Triple H match before, it was a decent match. It was a decent match, I'll give it that. I thought this was alright, but they gotta stop with these fucking entrances with Triple H and the goddamn super tricycle looking like a child, like a safety edition of Decepticon vehicle. This was just a mediocre match of just getting near fall, because what are you gonna expect of two superstar wrestlers, notable for like having great matches against one another, at least against greater opponents? They're gonna use his finisher. Orton's gonna use his finisher a lot. Next up, Braun Strowman Lashley. I didn't care. And obviously, Strowman and Lashley did not care. It wasn't Haas strength. It wasn't big Haas strength. It was just Strowman doing what he does best. Just pounce on him a few times outside the ring, a few power slams later, Strowman wins. I did not care. No weapons, no selling, no different storytelling. No interesting thing happened in this match. At all, except Strowman looks better than he did last year. Next up was involving Kofi Kingston defending his WWE Championship against Dolph Ziggler. It was just SOS, near fall, super kick, near fall, elbow drop, near fall. None of this telling a story. No selling of an injury, no emotional struggle, no trust issues with Xavier Woods. Nothing to get me interesting in a match except near fall. Until something. So you beat Kevin Owens, the former Universal Champion, clean without Xavier Woods' assist. And yet you needed assistance with Dolph Ziggler. A man that you had multiple mid-card matches with, that you should know him, what he does from the back of his hands, thanks you faced him like 3 times for the United States Championship, like 7 times for the Intercontinental Championship. How big was this match, really? He just gets a Trouble of Paradise by an assist by Xavier Woods. It didn't sell me anything of Kofi Kingston. There's no personality that comes to the Kofi Kingston becoming WWE Champion. He doesn't have a different experience. He didn't learn from most of his reigns when he was United States or Intercontinental Champion. Fuck! What the fuck is Kofi Kingston? Other than, yo, you should chill, bro. This is Kofi Kingston being world champion. When's the last time you seen a nigga? Why always race has to matter to you, bitches? Why does longevity matter? If a man can get the job done, he can get the job done. I'd rather see Mrs. WWE champion yet again than Kofi Kingston. There wasn't even a thrill of Brock Lesnar cashing in after Kofi Kingston had a tough match with Ziggler. None is selling Kofi Kingston being a higher value star on the main roster that Lesnar won't even waste time cashing in. This was a pointless ass match. I did not care. Next up was the stupid ass Battle Royal. The 50 men in the ring and a fucking local wrestler won it. Mansoor, his name was? I couldn't even keep up much people because it's 50 men in a fucking wrestling ring. Oh god. It was crap. I thought Ali was gonna win it or somebody else that's important. Except I know this show doesn't mean a goddamn thing, so yeah. I don't care about this 50-man battle royal. They only did one thing that was entertaining, and that was Titus referencing the little botch he had last year. That was the funniest thing in wrestling history. By accident. Oh, and everybody forgot Sin Cara was there, and he was eliminated by fucking Nakamura. He eliminated Nakamura. Authors of Pain were there, and they haven't been on TV for months. And yet some guy named Mansoor won it. Next up was the amazing main event of fucking SuperShowDown. Because everybody wanted to watch this match. And I'm trying to get, like, more information off this match and shit like that. So I'm on, like, I'm on CBS Sports, where they tell me more information what happens in the match. Let me tell you one thing. These faggots should stay retired. WWE doesn't know the meaning of retired wrestler. These guys are contracted employees. Why don't you give them days off? Can't they initialize retirement? I understand for wrestlers, for professional wrestling, their crap runs deep and they have respect for the business. And if they still have the ability to go, they'll go. I get it. There's some wrestlers that I see still wrestle, even if they have longevity or their body's not giving in on them. If you haven't seen Jushin Thunder Liger, Rey Mysterio, Triple H can still go at times, but he can't go in a consistent rate like he did nearly 10 years ago. Randy Orton can still go, and he's younger than he looks. He's like in mid-30s or late 30s, but he can still go. Asuka's like 37, she can still compete in a high rate. There's guys that I know can wrestle well, and they're older than you think. But Goldberg and Undertaker have a near 30-year career in professional wrestling. Goldberg couldn't wrestle a cinch. Him doing a knee bar was stressful enough. He couldn't even completely lock it in. He tried to do the jackhammer. He attempted 3 spears, already no sold Undertaker, and yet fucking a choke slam beats Goldberg. He botched a fucking jackhammer, and it looked like a brainbuster. It looked like he nearly concussed the Undertaker. 2 shitty choke slams. He couldn't even do a tombstone. It looked like a fucking Andre that when Hogan struggled to power slam Andre the Giant. What the fuck were they supposed to prove? They could have done it like when Goldberg faced Brock Lesnar back at Survivor Series 2016. Shocking, exciting, and out of nowhere. Boom, like that. You got to see Goldberg again face Brock Lesnar and see that Goldberg could still go. He was crazy. It showed the mystique, and you could see Goldberg beat Goldberg. I didn't have to waste my shit with that. If they wanted, they could have bring weapons into it if you were going to make it that time exhausting. This entire show is a complete mess. Not only was the match just piss poor, it showed how much WWE really values much of like Saudi Arabia. I don't even give a fuck what it's called. They're in the Middle East somewhere. It starts with a K, whatever. No one gives a shit. All they know it's somewhere in a different country where WWE obviously spending more time in than actually having a good fucking product. It's wasting my network subscription. It's wasting my time and it's wasting my effort. I didn't always want to do professional wrestling on my YouTube channel. I wanted to do sports. That was it. Maybe a bit of video games and a bit of cinema. That was it. I didn't want to do a lot of professional wrestling because I know how much the Raw and SmackDown were trash. But like most of the views I've been getting on some of this crap, it makes me want to like dig deeper and see if there was going to be more viewers willing to actually see my content. No, they don't. The highest view I still have is my entire rant and bitching on 2018. It was so shit of a year. When I even complained about there was less pyro, there was like 1,700 pyros that went off. And that's cool. But it should always be beginning and ending for pyro, unless you have a cool entrance. Finn Balor. The majority of his fucking entrances involve smoke and him doing all this shit. When the fuck was pyro ever used in that? Rollins got pyro. I think Undertaker got a bit of pyro. I think he got some fire. I don't know why the fuck they did this. Why would WWE would try to endorse their product in something that obviously don't want one of their increasingly improved products to make it? I'm talking about their women's wrestling shit, as well as I rant about some of the wrestlers. At least they're being taken seriously. Charlotte, Bayley, Sasha Banks, Naomi, Amber Moon. They're not even there. Because of the country's sexist and really retarded outlooks on the world, and how they still keep on this outdated shit. Finn Balor's getting in trouble because he supports the Pride movement. Oh, plus they're homophobic and do not like outsiders at all. So I don't give a fuck if this shit gets demonetized off the country. They're sick fucks, and I'm shocked that WWE lowered their standards so much that they need millions of dollars off a country that don't give a shit of what they really want to sell. And that's some parts of women's wrestling. And like LGBTQ and shit like that. For me, I don't give a shit about the LGBTQ, but it's something that WWE supports. And they don't even let, like, if they see Velveteen Dream and his flamboyant personality, they're gonna stone him off the spot if they did a takeover there. Watching the show was dreadful. Not only was the main event trash, they devalued the Universal Championship. They did a 50-man battle royal because most of their jobbers are in shit. They couldn't do a ladder match. They couldn't do a different stipulation match because WWE has gotten so down the barrel hole that they don't give a shit about the most of the wrestlers or why WWE was watchable in the fucking first place. This gets a fucking 2 out of 10. I got a friend of mine that we went back and forth over the entire show, and there was only one match that was enjoyable. And that was Andrade and Finn Balor. No one cared about Triple H and Randy Orton because it was just trying to do near fault teases. No one gave a shit about Rollins and Corbin because we know that they wouldn't want to do a cash in a different fucking country. No one gave a fuck about the 50-man battle royal because most of these guys weren't getting pushed in the first place. Braun Strowman is obviously having his career wasted. And I don't give a shit about Roman Reigns and Shane McMahon. They're fucking up already Drew McIntyre. Oh boy, the show sucked. Kofi Kingston is already a terrible world champion. It's been since WrestleMania, not any of his promos improved. No one gives a shit about his promos. No one gives a shit about his character. I completely wasted my time in my life waiting for the show to happen. And waiting for two old fucks to main event. And they can't even get their signature moves right without looking like they're about to get concussed or break a fucking hip. That's what I want to watch. That's what somehow everybody wants to watch in Saudi. Somehow they're so desperate to watch pro wrestling that they want to be like, I want to watch Undertaker and Goldberg. This ain't 2004. I don't think you want to see that. No, I want to see them. Regret what you came here, bro. It's 2019. So, these guys are in their 50s now. I don't think they're going to produce in like how they used to from years back. I don't give a fuck. I want to see them. Motherfucker! This was depressing. This was super depressing to watch. And I don't want to watch this again. I don't want to hear about Super Showdown. This gets my rating of a shit show out of 10 or 2. This was terrible. And I hope you feel the same. If you don't, I would like to read what you have in mind. Maybe it could change my view on the show. Thank you for watching. Oh my god, I need Tylenol.